It's Mindful Monday.
Hey, everybody.
Appreciate y'all for joining.
Thanks for joining us tonight on Mindful Mondays.
Yes, yes. You're here with K Ham Speaks and
Necee.
Yes, y'all.
Yes, and tonight we want to talk about how do you cope?
Yes. How do you cope through everyday life? How do you cope when you go through ups and downs? How do you get through those ups and downs?
Yes, we are very interested in that.
And as always, before we get started, we'd like to mention what's in our cup.
Yes. So,
what's in the cup? What's in your cup? Nicole Lear, we see that you joined the room, so we appreciate you for joining. Thank you.
Nicole.
Yes, y'all. So what's in your cup tonight on Mindful Mondays?
Well, in my cup tonight, I have an energy drink.
Okay.
With a hint of cranberry juice, 100%.
Okay.
A lime on the side, and a metal straw.
All right. Well, in my cup tonight, I have what you call a little pick-me-up, okay? It's just a little tea with a hint of lemon, lime, and honey, y'all.
Sounds good to me.
Yes. Well, we appreciate everybody for joining us tonight, everybody who is in the room. Like I said, Nicole Lyric, we appreciate you for joining us. Tay Suggs is in the building. Thank you, Tay Suggs.
Hey, Tay.
Yes, y'all. Come on in the room. We appreciate y'all for joining us as always. Tonight's conversation is on how do you cope? How do you cope with everyday life? We want to hear from you. We want to know if you go down, how do you pick yourself back up?
Yeah, how do you cope? And there are 3 people on, so can we get 3 likes and 3 shares?
Yeah.
Like, share, and comment, please. 3 likes, 3 shares, and please comment. Hey, Stephanie.
Hey.
My best friend on. Like, share, and comment.
Hey.
We're talking about how do you cope. We want to know how do you cope. So we'll go ahead and just jump right into it.
Okay.
So from my perspective, when we're saying how do you cope, because let's admit it, we all go through stuff.
We do.
Everybody has some good stuff, we go through stuff. We have some good times, and then we experience those bad times.
We do.
And those bad times can come in many forms. Hey, Shanita. So what we want to talk about tonight is when you're going through a bad situation.
Right.
And if you would, walk with me for a moment and think of a particular situation when you know you were going through for whatever reason. We ain't going to ask you the reason, but for whatever reason. And so we want to know, how do you cope with it? Do you cope with it? What do you do? How long did you stay in that state of mind before you felt like you were back to normal? So what are some coping mechanisms is what we're here to talk about. Mm-hmm. And so let's start with you, KM. Think of a specific situation.
Okay.
Where you were either angry, because that's one of the ways that we, when we are experiencing bad things, sometimes we feel anger. Mm-hmm. Or maybe where you were hurt, your heart was broken, and you were down. Or, maybe you got some bad news. How do you cope?
The way I cope is music, pray, praise, cry, confide into people that I trust, my trusted sources that I can express and articulate what I'm going through, and ask questions to life, and be open to receive it. How else do I cope? We all have our habits and our things that, we do, but mostly for me is surround myself by good people that love me, that can lift me up, that can pick me up and not stay in it long, have that moment of I'm down and dealing with it. I have a philosophy that I've inherited through my experiences, and it is basically recognize a trigger. So if I'm feeling angry, recognize what got me to that point. And once I recognize it, embrace it. I'm angry. That's the truth. It is what it is. That feeling is real. It ain't gonna go nowhere, but it's my job not to react in it. So once I recognize it, I embrace it, I identify it. It's anger, it's frustration, it's depression, I'm stressed, I'm unhappy. Once I identify what it is, so what, now what? And that so what, now what means so what, I feel it, so what is here, now what I'm going to do about it.
Okay.
And I got that from somebody along the way, but like I say, it's just, this is what I have learned. Now, I try to practice that philosophy, but how I cope.
I heard the word try.
Yeah, well, you know what? I take that back. I practice my philosophy. Am I perfect at it? Yes, almost. No, not really. But I'm practicing my philosophy, and my hurt and pain has taught me that. And, My main thing, surround myself with good people and pray. They're my top 2-3 things right
Okay,
there.
that's good.
Yes.
That's good. Let's see here now. Shanita says, she said, hello, ladies. I'm going to say Tay first. Tay says he tends to close out from everyone and get silent to allow my mind to work up a plan to get out that jam. I think that's very important, is to be silent. So how do you balance being silent and being to yourself with reaching out when you need, resources to, you know what I'm saying?
Balancing it,
Because,
like closing off and then reaching
and
out.
I guess it depends on the situation. Some situations you do need to handle alone, by yourself.
I agree
Get
with
yourself
that.
right. It ain't all the time you need to go talk to somebody and tell somebody what's going on with you. Really, that's all we need is Jesus, right? But I know we're flesh, and sometimes you want to hear that human voice. So that's a great way to handle it too. Is making sure you're to yourself. Nicole says she keep to herself. Shanita said I revert to secluding myself. That might be a family thing, y'all.
It's in the blood. It's in the blood. Shanita said I get quiet and honestly pray, cry, and try to do things that make me happy while still assessing how this could have went different. Meaning, what part did I play in this situation?
That's a good thing to do.
And I think what you just said is self-evaluation. How can I grow from this? And how can I be better? I think, that's a part of maturity and growth when you see because really we can only change ourselves. So when you hold yourself accountable to say, how can I be better? Or what could I have done different? I think that's, maturity and growth.
I think it is too.
Yeah.
Hey, Auntie Bay. Hey, Cousin Sherry.
Hey, y'all.
Glad y'all joined us.
TT in the building.
And Shanita says, overall, I have to get in a quiet place. Then I later respond because I usually react out of anger. But now I step back and look at the big point and then make a plan like Tay said. That's good. That's good. I think making a plan is important.
For sure.
Because you don't want to get stuck. You can get stuck in either one of those stuff. Now, how I tend to, my philosophy is hurt, heal, move on.
I like that. Say that slow.
Okay.
One more time.
H2MO. Hurt, heal, move on.
Okay.
H2MO. So, and that's the thing. Whatever happens, you're going to hurt. I mean, even if someone did something to you, right? They broke your heart. You're going to hurt.
Right.
You're going to hurt. Like you say, embrace that hurt.
Yeah.
Identify with it. Say, yeah, I'm hurt. It's okay to be hurt. We all be hurt sometimes. Or, yeah, I'm angry. I'm very mad. I'm very pissed off. Whatever that emotion may be. And I think that hurt will generate some type of emotion.
Right.
Okay, embrace that. Heal. Now, this is the main process for me is, okay, I can't keep hurting. Because if you keep hurting, you're going to get stuck. You're going to be depressed. You're going to not want to go nowhere. You ain't going to have no friends. You're going to be carrying around this heavy thing on your heart. But the heal is to make that lighter. You got to get it up off of you.
Yeah.
You got to be like, oh, look, I'm going to be okay again. You got to get back to my happy self.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then move on.
Move on.
And that's where some people get stuck too. Sometimes you go right back to that same pain if it's a person that hurt you.
I have. You know what I'm saying? I have found myself being stuck in that hurt. And I think what's important about me experiencing that is you realize how much of your energy in certain departments is valued and how much of you are valued. And when you get stuck, it's a draining cycle. It's draining. It's too draining. You know what I'm saying? You realize how much of your energy is important and you shouldn't give so much of that to certain situations. And it teaches you how to protect it. Now, some of y'all come here knowing how to do that, and that's mastery. And some of you have to learn it like me. But getting stuck gave me that bounce back. That nah, baby, you ain't finna get me. That stuck. Right, you found that bounce back. That I can say that, but I've been stuck. I've been stuck, and what has helped me found that bounce back is feeding myself good vibe and good energy, even when I don't want to hear it, or even when I don't feel like standing up. Taking that positive feedback and love anyway.
Auntie Bay, the topic is, how do you cope when you're going through something, when you're down and out? How do you cope? How do you stay lifted up? How do you keep your positive energy? Nicole Lyric says I lift mine eyes to the sky right now. And that's good. You got to keep your head up. You hear people say that, but to actually really practice that, it really takes some strength.
Yeah, it does. It does. I like what Shanice said. That's why I try to respond different, so I don't allow that to overtake me. And you're right, because it can't. I mean, and if I'm gonna derail just a little bit, bring me back. When you say overtake me, it's all things are like energy, and to me it's either it's feeding your negative energy or your positive energy. And I think our job and our duty as good, decent human beings is to fight to keep our joy. And that's positive energy, and what do we know the enemy come to do? Rob, steal, and kill of our joy. Because joy is infectious, or any energy is infectious. And what be it you going through hurting so bad, but yet you still able to emit good positive energy and pull somebody else up. You know how encouraging that is?
Yeah. And see, some people, I mean, what do you call it, right? Some people call it being fake. Like, you hurt, but the world don't see your hurt. You smiling. All they see is you always smile. Man, she always smiling. She always happy. But she probably ain't always happy, but she ain't got to let you see
world know. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think, and my thing is, I always try to appear, to be happy, to be positive. I'm not always successful at it. But if I were to say something I wanted to do, I would stay in a state of positive energy and like Shannon saying, keeping my head up, keeping my eyes lifted to the sky. Can't nothing get me down. Although things do. And I look at myself in the mirror at night in my bedroom by myself, just as ugly, crying so hard. Me, myself.
Y'all know that look with you.
I said, girl, you ugly. Look how you crying. I'm not gonna come on Facebook and do that.
Gonna let you know.
I ain't gonna let too many people see that look. That's something private.
That's right.
And I think it's a strength to go through stuff and to be hurt, but yet when you still can encourage other people and they don't even know you going through, and you don't even have to tell them.
That's right.
That's strength.
That's right. Unless you have to share the story or whatever, but you don't even have to tell them. You wear it well. And like you said, I think a part of that coping is staying in that positive zone. That's part of coping too.
Absolutely. Hey, Marquisia Jones.
Hey. In the building.
How do you cope? When you're going through stuff, how do you cope? We all, even something like an argument, all of us don't agree. If you have a significant other or a friend and you guys get into an argument, you may say some hurtful words and stuff, and it's hurting you. And it's like, okay, how do you cope? First of all, I feel like if you offended anybody, you need to make that right with a sincere apology.
Forgiveness.
Some people I don't like to apologize. That's why I try not to do nothing wrong to people. So I don't have to come back and tell you I'm sorry that I did that. Because that's something. But some people don't apologize. And if you one of those people, no offense to anybody, where you don't think you ever owe nobody an apology, like you always right in the situation, I think you might need to check yourself.
You must check yourself. You must check yourself.
Now, there's one thing I want to say too, and this kind of off the beaten path of what we're talking about.
Okay.
But, say your friend is hurt. And say you just experienced something, Kenise. We're going to role play.
Okay.
And you come to me and you tell me your situation. Let's just say you just had an argument with your boss at work. Okay. And you feeling bad because they, told you that, not an argument, but your boss at work just gave you some performance feedback. Okay. And told you that, you weren't quite making it, you weren't performing the way and you thought you were. And so you coming to talk to me about it, I'm your friend. Okay. Okay, go.
So we role playing? Okay, hold on, I got to get in the character. Hold on.
Hey, Sylvia!
Hey, Sylvia!
The topic tonight is how do you cope? How do you cope when you're going through stuff? So Kenise just got some bad news from her boss that she thought she was a good performer, and she's got some bad news that her performance isn't up to par. And she come to talk to me about it, one of her best friends, one of the people in her circle.
Okay. I just got some bad news.
No.
Yep. So out of my performance rating, you can go up to a 5. That's top performer. They gave me a 2.8.
No.
A 2.
Girl, I remember last year when I sat down and talked to my boss, girl, he gave me a 3. And I was like, no, they didn't. I was so upset.
I almost forgot the point of the role play.
I say, when your friend come and talk to you about their problem, don't start going in. Don't make it about you.
I forgot about the role play. All I knew is we were no longer talking about my 2.8. Okay? I was like, what we doing?
I'm not saying people is, oh my God, people do this more than we know. When somebody comes to talk to you about something, y'all always try to make it about y'all. Can y'all stop that and listen to that person and just make it all about her? Do not say what you went through or what you did, and I've experienced it. I was sitting at the table with two people, and this one girl was talking about something, and the other girl kept saying, "Oh, well, I did this for this. Oh, you did." It wasn't about you. She brought up the topic. Let us have our own conversation, okay?
Let us be able to cope, okay? Let us be able to get it out. Yeah, because no, I don't like that. Now, don't do that. Somebody come to you with something, you listen with an open heart. You wait.
Don't make it about you.
Be slow to speak.
If they're going through something, don't make it about you. Make it about them. Show you care. Hear them. People need you, but we need y'all to hear us when we're talking about, something that's very dear. We don't want to hear how you handle it or what you did, because we're different.
Yeah.
Okay, now, we just want you to listen.
Yes. Listen. Okay, so we're talking about coping, right?
Hi, Melvin.
Hey, Melvin.
How do you cope when you're going through something? How do you cope?
We're talking about coping, going through everyday life, going through something. Now, coping, going through traumatic situations, through trauma, life trauma. We're talking about maybe, you grew up in foster care and you went to go look for your parents and they didn't want a relationship. We're talking about trauma for those who may have been molested or touched as adolescents and couldn't make sense of that. And some of us may still be, or some people may still be dealing with that.
Yeah,
we're talking about fathers not being in the home, and some of us may be like, it's a disconnect. Or mothers not being, so real traumas.
Real stuff.
Or growing up with a parent or a sibling, and it's just, you can't ever seem to have a conversation
that
of
love that you want. Yeah, that's some real stuff. People do go through that.
Having a parent who you have to care for at their older age, and they have something hard against you in their heart. These traumas that we go through, how do you cope through those traumas? Do you band-aid it? Do you ignore it? Sweep it under the rug? Or even the toughest things that are traumas for us to deal with, how y'all cope? How do we cope with those situations, y'all? And don't be, I ain't asking y'all to share, but how would you cope with a trauma? We all have everyday trauma. Do you think that that's the same, or real life trauma? Do you think that that's the same way, that you would cope with a bad performance review?
Right. So again, hurt, heal, move on.
Yeah.
And so, and I that's just what I try to do, because it's gonna hurt. Whatever situation you get, you may be diagnosed with a terminal illness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's gonna hurt. Now from that, you may not can heal physically, but you got to heal mentally. Okay, you got to heal mentally, and then you got to move on to, as best you can, to still have a good life, to still enjoy your life. I don't think no one wants to live with a life of unhappiness. Right. So how do you get your happy back when you've been given some bad news or some hurtful situations? Now me, I have strong faith.
Okay.
I'm a believer.
Yes.
And that gets me through. Okay. Jesus Christ is my salvation. Okay. Jesus Christ is who I go to build up that strength. The Holy Spirit gives me comfort, in my time of need. And that works for me.
Right.
That's what I do. That's how I get through those kinds of situations. Is I'm spiritual. Yeah. And I know God always have the victory in Christ. No matter what happens to me, I'm always a winner. I'm always going to have that victory.
Yes.
And even in those situations where I'm in the mirror crying, making the ugly face, I still got the victory.
Right.
But because I'm human, I have to go through that emotion. I'm not holding it in. I'm going to let it out.
Right.
I'm going to let it out at the appropriate time. Right? In front of the appropriate people.
Right.
I think it's a time and place for everything.
It is.
I ain't looking for sympathy from nobody, but if you are, then go cry in front of a bunch of people and let them say, ooh, and that's probably going to be all the comfort you get. But I don't want the comfort of man. I want the comfort of Christ.
Yeah.
And that's where I go. That's what I do.
Comfort of Christ, I think that's what you said, a comfort of Christ, and you also said, in your mind, move on. I think that's powerful because, trauma in your mind, we battle and war against things in high places, which high places are mind. Once you can make peace and believe and see, that's where hope spark at. You know what I'm saying? Like when you going through, if you could get a glimpse of, but I'm gonna make it out, or a glimpse
That's
of a
right.
God got me, or a glimpse
You
of,
are going to make it out.
you know, if you get a glimpse of that, that's freedom. You know what I'm saying? I think that how you cope through trauma is finding freedom in your mind first. You know, the situation may not be changed, but we can change our mind.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? We may not can change the circumstance or the people around us, but we can change our perspective and our thought on how we think through or see the situation. So when you said, you know, in the mind, that is extremely, you know, powerful, I think. And then, like you said, believing in Christ and believing in your creator and your maker, that God saw this and too called it good. And he made a way out, and that your wrong work out for your good. But I think we know, and all the other scriptures we can add, but I think it's the thing that when we go through it, really becoming that scripture and being made to know those words for ourselves, that we not just reciting them, but it comes from a place of, I have been delivered to know that God made a way for me, you know?
And
the only way you can go through is where you feel like there is no way, and God make a way.
Yes.
You know, if you in a situation and you see all the ways and the possibilities, then you don't know that God can make a way out of no way. But when he put you in a situation where you see no way out,
and then he makes a way,
now you know he can make a way out of no way.
That's pretty
and
good.
You speak with that truth, you know. So
yes. Melvin says for him, he's learned to grow through situations through reading and sharing in a safe space.
Yes.
Reading is good.
Reading is good.
Yes,
reading
absolutely.
is good.
In a safe space. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Reading.
Jasmine said, "Hey, Jazzy."
Hey,
she says to normalize therapy.
Yes. Yes.
Normalize therapy. What that mean?
So I think when she said, you know, when we say coping and going through those traumas, normalize therapy. You know, when you therapy. You know, therapy.
Okay.
You can see a therapist.
Okay.
Normalize it. Make it normal to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That we.
Even when you're not just
culture.
And that's a good point, because not even, I mean, the energy that we're talking about, like you say, should be normalized. I think I get it now, Jasmine. I'm slow, but I'm worth waiting for.
Come on up.
But to normalize that, because whether you're down or up, you should keep that same normal level thinking. That mindset should be the same.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a give up mindset. Like, I don't gave up. Oh, you know, woe is me. No, I'm still a winner. I still got victory. Even though I'm down here in the valley, even though my bank account on negative 2.0 negative, I still am a winner. I still got it. You know what I'm saying? I'm still going to be okay. No matter what the situation is, I'm going to come out a winner. I'm going to come out okay.
We definitely should normalize. Normalize you're a winner, you're going to come out. But I think Jasmine's really saying actually wanting to go see a therapist.
Oh, so I was
like, say, for instance, you going through, or you know a family member that's depressed, stressed, have an addiction. Normalize going to see a therapist in our culture.
I got you.
Of our culture, our community. We may not normalize that seeing a therapist is okay. It may have this stigma that comes with it.
It does.
You know? And especially for a lot of our black men. I mean, some black men, Melvin, you in the room, black men, let us know. I mean, therapy, I mean, it's part of coping.
Yes,
you know, normalize that. Is that normal to y'all? Melvin, is therapy normal for you?
Tay, are you still with
Tay Subs, is therapy normal for you? You know, going through?
Jasmine said, yeah, that's what she meant. Normalize going to therapy to help you cope with your trauma. You seeing a therapist.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's right. That's good.
Yeah.
And I guess I can't really relate because I never have, but you know, like you said, there is a stigma, but I think that and maybe I do need to see one, but I don't think I do.
You don't want to apologize?
I think most of us, no, I will. I don't like to, but most of us don't think we need a therapist, and maybe that's the problem, because maybe we do. So for those that know me real well, if y'all think I need a therapist, y'all better tell me, because other than that, I don't know.
Shanita said, our culture seems to think that therapy is not for us, but it's okay to pray and have a therapist. I agree.
That's
it is
good,
okay
Shanita.
to pray and have a therapist.
Because you got to pray and have a medical doctor. So same thing, a doctor for your mind.
I agree.
That makes sense.
Thumbs up to that for myself. I'm a thumbs up that myself. One thing Melvin
he says therapy wasn't when I was younger, but I'm more mature now.
Hello, yeah.
Yeah, and that's another good point. You know, as we learn to cope
That's true.
with different things, as you get more mature, you should have better coping skills.
Yeah.
The way you coping now at 30 and 40 should be on a more mature level than the way you coped at 19 and 20. You got to grow. I think someone mentioned earlier, you got to grow and become a better person, just handle things better in a more mature way.
What I can say from that is, my experience with, I like to call it matters of the heart, dealing with the heart, relationships, is I like to say this time around the sun, my experience has taught me, how important my energy is. So like for me, this time around when dealing with matters with the heart, or when dealing with being in love or whatever, for me, I know what triggers me in a relationship, and now it's up to me. That when I'm triggered, for me to control those emotions, now that I know that they're there, now that I know how they come, it's almost like, if for instance, when you wake up in the morning, the first thing on your mind is all the things you got to do, and it's daunting and stressful. Well, now that you know that happens to you, what if you write a list the night before? So now that I have the experience to know this happens to me, I found ways to master and to overcome, my joy being sucked or to cope.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. And we have Vanna Song.
Hey, Vanna Song.
Hey, Vanna says she goes to the beach or a lake and it's peaceful.
Yes,
I love the beach. I love the beach.
Vanna, yes.
Yeah, but I've never really gone like by myself. So I guess that would be something that you could try as well, is just go to a place that's very nice and serene. Yeah. By yourself. Get out the house.
That's a good one, man. I forgot about, I'm a nature person too. I go to the park. I like to be outside too. That's right. Yes. Go somewhere like
peaceful. Yeah. By yourself.
Yeah. It's almost like a mini vacation. If you can escape, get your mind away. I agree with that for sure. Jasmine said, I believe in comfort in Christ, but we have to also be intentional with doing the work, because you can find yourself in a situation where Christ gets us through a trauma just for your flesh to walk you back in a similar situation because no work was done. That's where therapy comes in, along with prayer.
That's good, Jasmine.
Yes. Doing the work. Be intentional with your work, and to me that requires focus and discipline.
Discipline, for sure.
Intentional with your work.
That's pretty good. Shanita said she loves the beach. The water relaxes her too. Yes. So that's another good therapy.
Sometimes taking a tub bath, just sitting in the tub bath, turn off the lights, lighting on your candles, getting your Christmas lights, and your spa ambiance music and your bubbles. Oh yeah, y'all.
Create a whole vibe.
Yes. Listen, y'all, this has been, Mindful Mondays. How do you cope with everyday situation and trauma? My takeaway from this is some good stuff, man. Besides my philosophy I gave in the beginning, recognizing, IDing, embracing, so what, now what? I take to be intentional. I like that with your work, because I think that's the next level of growth, whether it be therapy or, listening to music or going to the beach. You know what you got to do for you. It comes a point where we reach a certain age and a certain maturity that we can't do what we used to do. You know, you can't move how you used to move. You're getting older. You got to reserve your energy. And if you have, the fight is already fixed and God already gave you the victory, our mentality should be different. We shouldn't always be looking for somebody to pull us up and pray for us. At some point, when do we walk by and heal somebody with our faith? You know what I'm saying? So what I took from this is to be intentional with our work, and it's my job, my duty to fight, to stay positive. And how I cope, how I get through my situation depends on me and the work I put in.
Yeah. And one of the things that I've taken away a lot. Everybody has given some great advice on how to cope. A couple of things I take away from this is therapy. Like I said, I never thought I was going to need therapy, but it might do me some good. So who knows? Yeah. And then one of the things too, I think Melvin said it, is to grow through situations. You've got to grow. You can't be still handling situations the same way you did. We all got to continue to grow and handle them better, to cope with them better. If you still find yourself saying, you better not do that, honey, because I'm going to cuss you out, so that don't work no more. Cussing somebody out to me is not a great way to cope with a situation. You need to handle it maturely. Let me go have an intelligent conversation with this person about this particular issue, is where you should grow to from cursing somebody out, and because you use your words to curse somebody out, that don't mean nothing. That ain't no big thing. That ain't nothing to be proud of to me, although people say it like a badge of honor in some instances. But again, we just want to make sure that, you know, we grow, we be better. Come on, y'all. We can. When you know better, you do better, right?
Yep. When you know better, you do better.
So we definitely hope, you know, as you're experiencing things this week, this Mindful Monday has have given you some great inspiration on how to cope with those valleys and have a consistent high energy. Look up to the sky, keep your head up, as Shannon said, and let's just continue to be better and live better and live a happy life.
Yes, y'all. And with that, it's Mindful Mondays with K Ham and
Necee, thanks for joining. Like, share, comment. And share. We had up to 12 people. I want to see 12 shares, 12 likes. Hey.
And we appreciate y'all.
Hey, we appreciate y'all. Thank you.
And until next week.
Peace, love, and sunshine.